All right, our final game for conference championship week, the Big Ten championship, which is on CBS on Saturday night, Penn State and Oregon. We've got Oregon 3.5-point favorites, 49.5 the total. This game, as it always is, Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Indianapolis Colts. You know what I'm doing in this game from a side perspective. Doesn't mean I'm laying 3.5 with Oregon, but I'm damn sure not on Penn State. It's big game James, or not so big game James, frankly, for Penn State. I can't take him in a big game. I cannot do it. I will not do it.
Not with their money. I gotta see it. I gotta see it. Shit.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I won't do it. He is still yet to beat Ohio State. He is still yet to beat Michigan as head coach here at Penn State, which is essentially all the big games you play every single year for this team. And we already saw him lose to Ohio State earlier this year, 20-13, which now looks very unimpressive, losing at home to Ohio State with what Ohio State's done. They've gone and lost to Oregon in Oregon and just lost outright as 20.5-point favorites against Michigan, who are not even close to as good as they were last year. No way do I want Penn State. Oregon, meanwhile, is the only side I could look at. I was open to lay 3 or better, not 3.5, but I could only look at Oregon. I think I know what I'm going to get from this team, because last year, obviously, they obviously had their issues getting over the Washington hump, but they've cleared a lot of these hurdles this year. We saw them, beat Boise, which was a tough game for them. We saw them find a way to beat Ohio State, in that game. And I just find that with what I'm seeing from Oregon right now is that proficiency, that explosiveness on offense coming back with Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, with Jordan James and Noah Whittington running the football extremely well of late for Oregon as well. And when I look at Penn State, they finally did pile on the points, but against a Maryland defense that doesn't hold a candle, to what Oregon's going to bring out.
We talked about that. They always kick their ass. Yeah.
They always kick their ass. They always beat up offensively and punch in the late touchdown, which got Mike Loxley all upset at the end of that Maryland game. They do that against the teams they're capable of beating big. But then when they got to play a Michigan, they got to play Ohio State, they got to play a top-tier, elite-level football team, time in and time again, that offense stinks, and it doesn't work. How many more times do I have to see fucking Trace McSorley, fucking Sean Clifford, fucking Drew Aller, you name any quarterback Penn State's had the last few years, step up in class against an Ohio State, Michigan, or in this case, in Oregon, and not do anything on offense and not get the job done? How many times have we seen it? Seen it over and over again. We already saw it from Drew Aller in this offense where, yeah, they've had their big explosive games, but in the game where they played someone on the level of an Oregon earlier this year when they played Ohio State at Happy Valley, I might add, that game was against Ohio State. They only score 13 points. They can't do anything on offense in that game. Penn State, 13 points at home against Ohio State. Only 146 passing yards from Aller. There's no run game to speak of. Allen and Singleton were completely shut down. Tyler Warren as well. They tried to use him in some run plays as well, but they shut him down. He only had 47 yards receiving as well for Penn State, their big weapon in the passing game. Just a putrid offensive performance. Only 150 passing yards, only 120 rushing yards on 32 attempts as a team. No, there is just way too much evidence of this coach and this program not beating the best teams. It's really that simple. So Oregon or pass for me. I haven't decided if I'm going to bet it. You know what I'll probably do? Probably throw Oregon in a money line parlay with SMU, maybe, because get both.
Yeah, I was going to say take a money line.
Yeah. Take a money line, maybe parlay it with SMU, because they're both night games. The ACC and the Big Ten championship game on Saturday night. So just put them in a money line parlay. That way you don't have to lay the 2.5 with SMU. You can just ask them to win the game. You don't have to lay the 3.5 with Oregon. You can just ask them to win the game. That's probably the approach here. But one thing's for sure, I will tell you right now, there's no way, no how I want a penny on Penn State in a big game with this coach, period. I've seen it too much, too often. C-Mac, what do you think here? Big Ten championship.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's hard for me to flip. I've been ripping James Franklin for a long time. Not big game James. Unlike big game James Worthy is James Franklin. And like when you see the numbers, that's why this line I think is there. Both these defenses, like top 5, I'd say, like ranking Penn State 3rd overall, Oregon 7, and Oregon I think might be a little bit better. This is the time it like against Ohio State? Can like Penn State this offense? Can they run here? They average 200 yards on the ground. Like, can they do so? The Oregon defense, I thought too, and that's why they're 12-0. Has been one of the best I've seen. Just even years past, Mariota, like I never thought they had an elite defense or a top 10 that maybe could win a national title. This is about as close as it gets that I've seen with Oregon. And on the flip side, I do think Oregon, this offense will score, just the weapons that they have. And Gabriel, even with this good defense of Penn State. So could this game be close? Like the one time Penn State gave it up a little bit, like the tight game with Minnesota was at SC. That was a road game. The rest kind of a boring type year, I think. And you got to count on Aller. What do we get from him? I think he's okay. Sometimes he looks good, but I don't know if he's great. So I think it's pretty short. But it is just telling. Oregon's got the bullseye here on the back. But man, 12-0 and all of that. So I mean, like when people look at this, I mean, this is just easy here with Oregon, even with the hook. So it should be a good one. Now, I don't know about the total. I don't know if we get a bunch of points here. Oregon's like got a little bit of lead, sat on it. It's not high here. I don't know. And indoors in Indy. Yeah, Indy here.
And it's indoors, which makes you think fast track. And I know some of the Big Ten games have gone over, but it's also difficult to bet an over with a Penn State game when they're playing an elite team because we've seen that offense stall and not work and not put up the points in these games against the best teams they've played over the years. And again, this is every quarterback that's played there recently. This goes all the way back to fucking Hackenberg way back in the day. Remember him, Christian Hackenberg, and all Trace McSorley and Sean Clifford, all of them. It's just they play on Ohio State and Michigan, or in this case in Oregon. They just don't play. They just can't. The offense stinks, sucks.
I know. Can we see it? Yeah. Maybe one time. That's what I get on my money.
Yeah. That's right.
On them at least. Not at all. Yeah.
Now, people were complaining about Dan Lanning's track record in big games, especially losing to Washington twice last year. But I think he kind of rectified that this year with the win against Ohio State. And again, common opponent, right? Oregon beats Ohio State on when they hosted them, and Penn State loses to Ohio State 20-13 when they hosted them. So again, you put 2 and 2 together, and I could only make the case for the Ducks. Quack, 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 quack. Could only make the case here for the Oregon Ducks here in the Big Ten championship game. All right, shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. I hope you enjoyed this conference championship preview edition of the College Football Hitting the Books show. Reminder, we're back for the next 2 Mondays. These are going to be our last 2 shows coming up for college football, at least. The next 2 Mondays, December 9th and 16th. We'll be on at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Next Monday will be the first half of the bowl bowl previews. First half of the bowl slate we will preview next Monday. And then the following Monday, we will have the second half of the bowl games previewed for you. So 2 weeks of bowl preview shows coming up the next 2 Mondays right here on the College Football Hitting the Books show. And of course, college basketball hitting the books every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And we will be back with that once again later on this week, this Friday. C-Mac, any final thoughts before we wrap the show up?
No, that is it. We are here. Championship weekend. Shout out to everyone in here. Coin, Devin the Dude, Kong's Clips, my man. Great to see you on here. He's on UNLV. All right. Oldie, everyone. That's it. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't. Let's have a great weekend. Can't beat it.
No doubt. And this is a good day to recharge your batteries because there's only a handful of college basketball games. It's a light NBA, NHL slate. Because I need it after that weekend. Man, that last week was it was games wall to wall. You're handicapping like hundreds of games and you're 4 hours of sleep if you're lucky. Last night was the first time I got 8 hours of sleep in like a month. Man, did I ever need it.
Well, it's always like you go through the NFL, like I have these, and then it's like I got to get to college basketball. You think you're done? I got to go through and get through these, and then I got to look at the NBA cards. It's never ending this time of year.
No doubt. But nice to get a little mental recharge of the batteries and physical for that matter. Today, being able to get a little more sleep. We needed it in the worst way. But now, the best part of the college football season's here. Conference championship games, bowl season, and of course, the first time ever we'll see this 12-team college football playoff starting in late December. I can't wait for that, to see the matchups and how it unfolds. Can't wait to see that, and I'm sure a lot of college football fans agree with that. Shout out to everyone one last time. Hit the like button on the way out. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Enjoy college football conference championship week. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we'll be back with you Friday for college basketball later this week, and next Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific for our first of 2 bowl preview shows right here on the College Football Hitting the Books show. Until then, class dismissed.